start, the beat won't stop. It's always on my mind until I reach the top. Oh, live long and sing my song.
Hey there, car guys and car gals. I have chosen a 1957 Bel Air Nomad station wagon for Car of the Week. And what a Car of the Week it is. Chevrolet Nomads were basically synonymous in the 50s. They were so unique to own and very, very special because they were a two-door. They were kind of luxury man's station wagon. They had everything you'd want to have in them. These motors here were V8s. They had 6 cylinders, but in 1957 they came out with the 283. So a Nomad came out with a 283 engine in them, and these things here ran just utterly fantastic. They had air conditioning options, power steering, power brakes, power windows. They had all the amenities you would really like to have in even the modern day station wagons. But one thing pretty cool about a 1957 Nomad, it is actually the lowest production car of the Nomad series. In 1957 they built 6,103 of them. 1956, about 7,800. 55 was the largest production, about 8,900 cars that went ahead and built of the station wagon Nomad series car. But they were Bel Air Nomad is what they were called. They all had 2 doors on them. All the Nomads did, and they had a lot of really, really neat, significant things just strictly only to Nomad. Just like 55, the front fenders are Nomad only with the special eyebrows and all the stuff. But we'll talk about a 57 because that's what we got here in a nice, beautiful Matador red. This car right here was built for a very dear friend of mine. You know, I guess throughout life when you guys all have friends and whatnot, I'm blessed to have a really good friend, a down-home guy, good people, him and his wife and his daughter Annie. They're fantastic people. We're going to show you the license plate of this car here sometime during the show because it's 57 Momad. His wife's named Mo. And he kind of named the car for 57 Momad. Kind of cute, kind of neat, The guys go ahead and put that effort. His wife's a great gal, and she loves the car. She drives this car on a daily basis. Takes Andy to school. Andy's going to be learning to drive here next year, so she might be driving the Nomad here pretty soon. But what a neat car. Nomad put on these cars hubcaps. Of course, we all know hubcaps, wheel covers, but guys, 57 is the year they started out the spinner. Spinner caps were the pretty big deal, came out in 57. People stole them. There was a lot of them out there. Believe me, that was out there. 57, of course, in all the Chevrolet series, they went ahead and put these little airplanes both sides of the hood. Give it a really neat look on the car. A lot of chrome, a lot of stainless on them, and they drove really well. For being a station wagon, a good family man car, they had different engine options. And believe it or not, there were some Nomads out there that actually had the 6 cylinders. The 6 cylinder was a 235 and about 140 horsepower. And the 265 V8, they did have some 265s in some 57 Chevys. By the time they got the 283 back into the market to get things kind of rocking and rolling, that motor there produced about 162 horsepower on the 265. On the 283 motor, they had all sorts of horsepower ranges on these, 185 horse up to 220 horse, and of course you can get some high horsepower ranges. Some people claim some cars came with certain things. Back in the 50s, there's not a lot of proof of what would be ordered. You can order a car a lot of ways. I've seen a 1957 Bel Air Nomad with fuel injection. I don't know if the assembly line ever produced it. A dealer could have installed it because a dealer would do anything. Back then, dealers did things to get your business and do what you needed to do to get a car sold and get a car in the guy's hands and make him happy. So a fuel injection unit could have been installed. But a car like this car here came with factory air conditioning in 57. So we got to look back in time to find out the guy who ordered that car, power windows, power steering, power brakes. This car has all those options on it and an automatic transmission. But we kind of did a few little touches and flavors to this car. Mark wanted to really have it safe for Mo, so we went ahead and installed rack and pinion steering on the car. We did power rack and pinion steering. We went ahead and put in disc brakes on the car, upgraded the transmission to a turbo 350. The difference is how they shift. You know, the early cars had reverse way in the bottom. On the Turbo 350, which you car guys go, no, it goes right after park. So, of course, you got to set the shift selector so we know what we're doing when we're shifting. But a lot of you car guys don't select those, but they works good. What's kind of neat about this car, it has all the amenities you need to know. Upgraded alternator, the upgraded power booster with a proportioning valve because you got disc brakes, you got to do a proportioning valve. There's a lot of neat stuff under here. This motor here breathes absolutely fantastic. When I mean breathing fantastic, these are called Power Pack heads. Power Pack was an option that Chevrolet offered in 1955, 6, and 7. Power Pack heads gave the car a little more breathing room and a little more powerful. All Power Pack cars had dual exhaust, and dual exhaust was a big hit. If you notice, we got on here, we have the Elderbrock 4-barrel, an upgraded carburetor, aluminum intake manifold. What a few little things here. Obviously, you're seeing the two big fans on the front of the car. These big electric fans operate the air conditioning in it. We upgraded the air conditioning. We kept the same box. We pretty much dialed in the brand new style air conditioning compressor, which takes less drag off the motor to operate the evaporator in the condenser, so the air conditioning blows nice and cold in this car. And we went ahead and did the alternator also. The alternator is upgraded to we call a single wire unit, and makes this car here really nice and drivable. And underneath the hood, it's very, very safe with the power disc brakes. And oh man, the rack and pinion steering just really makes this car a really pleasure to drive. On the front bumper of a 57 Chevrolet, you got to admit, guys and gals, this right here is absolutely cool. These big bullets on the front of these cars, this is a good heavy-duty rubber end on them. And 57's the car they started putting them on. Other cars had some bullet styles on the front of them, but 57 Chevy, when this car was coming down the road, back in any year, even till 2010, when this car comes down the road, you know it's a 57 Chevrolet. Back in the 50s, you could pick out cars like that. It's just a lot of chrome and really, really cool stuff. And there's some kind of neat, you get some aftermarket items like these right here that have the Chevy bow ties on them. Has a lot of little touches on the car. I think Mark did a pretty good job on putting things together on it and organizing it. And a lot of people, when they want to go custom build these, they go a lot of avenues on it. We've seen Nomads from the very high original to kind of the extreme. We've seen them tubbed in with race and blower motors hanging out of them. But Mark made this car here a real drivable car and really neat to run. Let's take you guys to the inside of this automobile, really where when you sit behind the wheel, you know you're back in some real class and real style. And the way they did these dashes in them, just take a look inside here. The steering wheel in the car, the center console, it's all colored keyed and colored match. And back in 57, when they had the air conditioning ducts, that's how you tell real quickly from a car if they have air conditioning or not. These right here all had to be installed, and there was a lot of work to put an air conditioning unit in. And they got the dice hanging on the center of the rearview mirror, and power windows in this car here. We got the power window switches. These are a little bit different than the originals, where they're kind of upgraded on the car, made it a little more user-friendly. But the door panels, the two-tone colors are just great on the car. And Matador Red is an excellent color. Red and black. I call red and black the colors of Hot San Jose Nights. You notice our jackets and all our stuff. In the main poster, this vehicle right here is on the right lower corner. If you can see the real big poster of Hot San Jose Nights, this Nomad was the car actually in there. The 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air fins. Only one car and one car only had the stuff like this. 57 Chevrolet is one of the few cars that this right here is done in cartoons, models, and you name it, all over. It's all over the world, and that's probably what makes this car so synonymous and very, very popular, because in Chevrolet line, it's the only line that had something like this wide. But the back of a Nomad always have all the spears on the back of the car. They have 7 spears that go straight up and down, and they were back then, there was a real cast metal. And these aren't stainless, these were casted metal. And to pull down the tailgate on the car, it takes a little bit. Don't want to scratch the paint. And look at the way they trim these things here off. They had all the stainless go over there. This right here is kind of a real hard plastic on it. Back in the old days, we used to sit on the back of one of these as our mom would be driving us down the street. But the car is color keyed really, really neat. And of course, this lift right up there, and they have a lock, and that's how the back of the car goes ahead and opens up. Back seat folds down forward. Gives yourself some cargo room, so the station wagon can actually be used as a utility vehicle. Salespeople use